Hi, I'm Tim Elliott, and I'm here to ask you one question. What's your story? Now, we know from experience that startups that can tell their story effectively and with clarity get better traction. Right? They come across better in pitches to investors. It helps them resonate with those early customers, those first bunch of people that believe what you believe enough to give your startup a go. And it also resonates with those early people that form your team, form the hub of the people who go out on this mission that you're on. So let's look at story. How do you build an effective story? And it's all to do with this. This is what I call the story star. And it all begins at the top there. Every story needs to have a heart. It needs to have something at the center of it that beats throughout every time you tell it, right? With everybody who hears it. It's the thing that matters. It's the thing that adds meaning to your story, right? And that heart can be an idea, your big idea. It can be a purpose. It can be a just cause, or it can be simple as a reason that you meet a customer's need or solve a problem for the people you choose to serve. But it needs that beating heart to be effectively, because telling your story needs to get that idea adopted. So it needs to be super clear. Once you've got that at the heart of your story, you need to tell us about its origins. You need to answer the question, what was? Where did it come from? Why should I care? Right? It's the backstory, like any superhero. If you look at Marvels and any other superhero, they've all got an origin story of how they came to be here now. And that's what you need. You need an origin of your company, of the idea, of yourself, that backstory that adds depth and purpose and reasoning to the rest of the story. Next up is the empathy. You need to have a part of your story that is empathetic, that resonates with the people you choose to tell it to. This answers the question, what is? So we've gone from what was, where the idea came from, the reason it came into the world, right? It's story of origin. But now you need to go, and it's important because of this. We know that this problem happens. We know people like you face this challenge. We know we all face this challenge. We know you have this need. But it's all right. We're here to help. And that brings us to the inspiration, the bottom of the star. This answers the question, what could be? What could the world be like with your idea adopted? With you using this product or this service? It's a tale of the future, right? You're painting a picture of an improved situation for the people you choose to serve with your idea adopted. It's super important that you get these three things. It's been at the history of storytelling right from 330 BC, when Aristotle said in his Poetics that we need a beginning, a middle, and end, or an origin, an empathy, and an inspiration. What was, what is, and what could be about your idea. But not only that, it's beautiful having a great, big, purposeful, meaningful brand story to power resonance with your idea to the people you choose to serve. But you need to be able to simplify it. You need to be able to explain your idea in a sentence. We know that in the startup world, we might need to explain our idea to a few different people who consume content and ideas in a different way. Some people like the big idea. They just want to know the big idea. What's the big idea? Can you explain your idea in a sentence? And let me consider it and ask you questions. Then there's some people who are very operational, very detailed, very analytic, and they don't need the big idea. They don't need a beautiful emotional brand story. They need a manual with an appendix of how this thing is actually going to work. And then you need to tell it to people, to individuals, right? And individuals need to be inspired to action. They need to know the reason behind why it's important and what have they got to do with it. So you need to be able to simplify in that way. A great little task that I do with a lot of clients is get them to explain their idea in 50 words, then 15 words, then 5 words. And doing that exercise, you'll be able to eliminate some of the words to get to that beautiful, simplified idea of your story. If you've only got a few seconds to tell your story, you know that that sentence will do it. And the final point of our star is amplify. You should be able to amplify your story. Amplify is my favorite one-word marketing strategy, and I use it a lot recently. Amplify the good work you do. Tell your story everywhere. Remember or picture musicians. Right? Musicians are the greatest marketers and storytellers on the planet. And they're that not because they're more talented than anybody else, but because they make their story work harder. They amplify their story harder than anybody else. A musician, for example, would take a story, or a song in their case, and they'd record it and they'd practice it and they'd hone it till it's good enough to show the world. Then they write social stuff about it, they get PR about it, they record it, videos on it, they perform it live to audiences wherever they can. They get reviews on it, they tell their tribe about it, they email about it, and they'll keep telling that story until they've got a new story to tell. They really, really make that story work hard, and that's what you should do as a startup. Fix a great story with a really good heart. Tell us about its origins. Tell us why it matters to us. Why should we care? Empathize. Get us to resonate with the idea. And then tell us, inspire us, right? Tell us what could be if we adopt your idea. If we join your tribe, tell us what could be. And then simplify it. Make sure anybody you tell it to can understand it. Make sure every member of your team, every customer explains what you do and your idea in the same way. Simplification is difficult, but beautiful. And then amplify it. Make it work hard. Tell your story wherever you can. And that will give you a star story, something they will always remember. Your star moment. Hope that was useful. I'm Tim Elliott. Thank you very much.